Hello and welcome back to my channel, everybody. I am here today to talk to you about Pandora tips and tricks. These are tips or tricks that I use when dealing with Pandora, and I wanted to kind of put a compilation together to help those of you out that are like, hey, I really need some help or I'm stuck, and you have one place you can look for it together. So what I want to start with is probably some of the more basic ones. So I'm going to start with one rose gold charm. Some of you have been there, maybe some of you are about to go there, where you have just a single rose gold charm. I'm going to zoom in here on this Disney bracelet, and you find out you have all these silver charms and then you get one rose gold charm. Where do you put it? And my favorite thing to do when I have just one rose gold charm is to center it. Put it in the center of the bracelet so that I don't have to worry about where it needs to go or what it looks like. And as I collect rose gold charms, I can add different rose gold charms in throughout the bracelet. But when I just have one, I just put it in the center. And that is what I have done here with my Disney Minnie Mouse headband in the rose gold. I put it in the center of my Disney bracelet. And I have this one here to represent the Minnie Mouse ears that I wear every time I go to Disney World. So I wanted it on this bracelet, but I felt like it belonged in the center of the bracelet. So that is where I put it, because the rose gold is kind of difficult to just place randomly in some other location, and it looks more purposeful when it's centered. So that is my first tip or trick for you. The next tip or trick I have, and I've talked about this before on my channel, and that is 4 Muranos quadrant in the bracelet in this sort of the front, and then you have 2 in the back. So you have 2 towards the front of the bracelet and 2 towards the back of the bracelet, and it's to help fill in a bracelet that may be a little bit too loose on your wrist, and that helps to kind of fill in the space. So let's say you've gotten let's say you've done the classic Pandora mistake where you do a size too big, or maybe 2 sizes too big and it stretches, or you get it too big and then it stretches. Either way, the bracelet ends up being rather large on your wrist, and you need 4 Muranos. That helps to fill in the space. I've done it here with this bracelet, which is my I think this is a 20 centimeter bracelet. 4 Muranos helps fill that up for me. And the same thing with this one. This one's really badly stretched. 20 centimeter bracelets, very large. It may even be a 21. I have no idea. I don't remember. But this, I put 4 on there. And then I've done the same thing with my happiness bracelet, where I have 2 up front and then 2 towards the back, which I'm wearing today. And that helps to fill it in so that it doesn't fall off my wrist, because 20 centimeters is quite large, but with the extra Muranos, it helps to make it feel a little bit tighter on the wrist. So that is another trick that I have. If you happen to be one of those people who accidentally bought too big of a bracelet, or you bought a bigger size bracelet thinking that it would work long term, but then it stretched, there's lots of things that can happen like that. So the next tip or trick that I have, so that's tip number 2. Next tip or trick I have is clip safety chains. So I have a significant number. I've got my travel theme bracelet, I have my daughter's theme bracelet, and I have my childhood memories bracelet, and a few others that don't have safety chains dedicated to the bracelet. And what ends up happening is when I'm wearing them, I'm very paranoid about losing them, and I think, oh, I wish I had a safety chain. Well, the clip safety chain solves that problem. So I can use this one safety chain on all 3 of these bracelets. Now this is a $90 safety chain, which is kind of expensive, but it is just the silicone one that says Pandora on it, and it goes on the outside of these clips. So if you have a little extra space, it can kind of help fill that in, but also make sure that your bracelet stays secure. And then when you're done with it, you can just take it right off that bracelet and switch it out to another bracelet. Now, $90 seems like a very expensive safety chain. When you think about the cheapest safety chain, $40, $40, and $40, that's a lot more expensive than $90 for one that I can use for all 3 of these bracelets. And I can just have it be my traveling clip safety chain. And then I can just clip that on, and then like here I would take off a clip and put that on. So it's very useful, and it's a tip or trick I have for those of you that don't want to buy a safety chain for every single bracelet, but also want to make sure that you have that nice and secure. I definitely recommend a safety chain, particularly if you're traveling, if you're going outside the house, anything where you're worried that the bracelet might come off. Because I did lose a bracelet once. I lost the Starry Night class bracelet that I had in a 19 centimeter, and it took me forever to find another one, and when I did, I could only get it in the 18. So that's been a pretty sad moment, because that's one of my favorite clasps, and I did lose quite a few charms on it too. So that's a devastating thing to have happen. So you want to make sure you have a safety chain. So just getting one of these clips is a great way to prevent if I can talk, prevent losing your bracelet altogether. So that is tip or trick number 3. Okay, let's talk about tip or trick number 4. Again, we're going back to a Murano challenge here. I have my Disney princess bracelet, which I absolutely really love. But one of the things that's a challenge about this bracelet is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Muranos. Now, if you know, I use Muranos to fill up a size 20 centimeter bracelet. Obviously, that can also be quite tight when you have 6 of them. And some people have really tiny wrists, and Muranos are a great way to fill up a bracelet when you have a tiny wrist. But let's say you don't have a tiny wrist and you really want to use a lot of Muranos, such as I have with this Disney princess bracelet. Well, I go up a size in bangle or snake chain or whatever it is you want to do. Go up a size or maybe 2, and just do the Muranos on a little bit larger bracelet so that they feel more comfortable. If you try to do all of these Muranos on, say, your standard size, and for me, my standard size is a 19 centimeter or 7.5 inch bracelet, these would be quite tight on that, and I would feel really uncomfortable. I can usually, like, this is a 19 centimeter, and I can usually do a couple Muranos on there, and it won't be such a big deal, especially if they're towards the front. But if I'm trying to do 4 or 6, that's going to be quite uncomfortable for me. So putting that onto a little bit larger bracelet, I believe this is a 20 centimeter bangle, and this fits very comfortably on. And the Muranos fill up the space of this large bangle, but they also feel very comfortable when I'm wearing them, because there are so many of them. So that's another trick I have, is size up when you're going to wear a lot of Muranos on it. So, or if you really want to cram on, tons of Muranos, then I would definitely size up 2 sizes. So if you want to do even more than I've done here, where you want to do like an entire bracelet filled with Muranos, which is beautiful, by the way, but I would definitely recommend going up 2 sizes. Okay, so the next tip or trick that I have, which I think is number 5, because that was number 4, is that special bracelets that you have that you don't want to lose, and you're very paranoid, especially if you have gold on them, which I do on this two-tone bracelet, is to use a clip after the safety chain. So this side is all the way past all of these charms. This is the beginning next to that, but this is the side that might come off. These safety chains that aren't clip related, these are screw on safety chains here, they can sometimes come off of the threading, just like a charm that's a screw on charm can come off of the threading. And so something that I've seen people do, and I know that Tuhada does this on the regular, she shows that you put a clip on the end to protect the safety chain from falling off of this portion of the end cap. So you just don't want anything to happen, and I feel like I want my two-tone bracelet, which has a lot of gold on it, it's quite expensive, I don't want it to fall off, so I added a clip on the end. You don't need to do this, I think, with every bracelet, but I do feel that extra security makes me feel much safer to wear this on the everyday basis, which I do. I honestly feel a little bit naked right now because I don't have this actually on my wrist, and I'm wearing my Minnie and Mickey bangle over here. It feels unnatural because I'm so used to the weight of this one on that wrist, because I wear it every single day on my right wrist. And so that's something that I want to make sure is secure. So I add that little clip to make sure that my charms are secure on my very special and exceptionally expensive bracelets. I can talk today, I swear. But you guys should be used to my fumbling over my words by now, especially from my last video. I was trying to thank everybody for 500 subscribers. I kind of went blah 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 for a while, but oh well. LOL, it's just fun. All right, tip number 6 that I want to share with you is around dangle spacing. And I'm going to show a couple of different examples in dangle spacing. This is something that I have found very helpful. So there is the dangle spacing that you can do, which is a charm, a dangle, a charm, a dangle. And this works really nicely, I find, particularly with my travel themed bracelet, because there are so many dangle related travel themed charms. So I will take dangle, charm, dangle, charm, dangle, charm. And that helps kind of balance out the bracelet, but it also makes for a very pretty little dangly and feels very traditionally charm bracelet. Because of all the dangles. And this is great. Some people really don't like this many dangles, and that's totally fine. I have options for you as well. So let's say you just want a few dangles on your bracelet just to give it a little spice or a little bit of fun. This is the 4 dangles. So this is a quadrant of 4 dangles, and it's kind of like next to the clips and next to the end of the bracelet. So that gives you 4 areas where you have a dangle, so it's a lot less dangle intense in comparison to this every other one dangle, which is kind of like an easier, more obvious choice. This is a little bit less obvious, and it also spaces out your charms, so you have a lot more of the regular charms than you do of the dangles. Another way to do dangles is with 5. So you can have a dangle be the centerpiece of your bracelet, and then you can have the 4 quadrants. So you go towards the back and towards the front. And this I would go after the clips typically. You could go before, but it kind of gets a little bit busier in the front and not busy enough in the back. So I do 2 in the back, 2 towards the right after the clip stations, and then 1 in the middle. And that kind of helps to bring balance out the bracelet. I've also done that on my Disney bracelet. It's one of my more my favoriteest kind of way to space out a charm bracelet, because it kind of creates a lot of balance on the bracelet. But there are other ways you can do dangles as well, where you can have a little bit more but not quite go as haywire as the travel bracelet I have, which is every other one, but maybe a little bit more dangles, but just not as many. So here I have 3 towards the front before the clip stations, and then I have 2 towards the ones on the side. So it's kind of like 2 charms, a charm, 2 charms, a charm, 2 charms, a charm, 2, and then here I went with just 1 charm and then a dangle. So you have like 2 charms, a dangle, 2 charms, a dangle, 1 charm, a dangle, and then a regular one. So that gives you just a little bit more charms, dangle spaces, so that you can do that a little bit, but still looks really balanced on the bracelet. I find that the hardest thing with dangles is kind of spacing them out more evenly so that they feel really natural on the bracelet. But let's say you only have 2 dangles. I have some examples of 2 dangles. So this one I have very tiny baby-sized dangles on my gold bracelet. They're very, very small, and they're very, very tiny, and I have them right after the clip stations so that my full centerpiece is on display, but I have a little bit of dangles on the side of the bracelet, and I find that doesn't bother me very much. I've also done it a little bit differently on my blue bracelet, and in comparison, it has the dangles before the clip stations. So here I have Muranos kind of over the clip stations, but I have the dangles like as a part of the centerpiece. So they're flanking the centerpiece. Whereas in this one, they're right after the centerpiece. So it helps to kind of create a little bit of balance on both sides of the bracelet. It helps to like it look a little bit more unique. But ultimately, there's no rules on dangles. I've seen people who couple all their dangles together in one little location and don't space them out at all. I prefer a little spacing. So if you are in the market for spacing out your dangles or are always trying to figure out how you can space them out, there's just a few options in how to balance them so that they look a little bit more symmetrical. And my 7th tip is do something unexpected. So I want to talk about what I mean by that. So on this bracelet, I have added in a safety chain as part of the centerpiece, which is quite unexpected. It makes it look unique and different and adds a little fun and kind of gives it a feel that to me feels a little bit like a pocket watch or an old-fashioned or Victorian feel to the bracelet. And you could use it in a multitude of different ways. You could even add a clip-on just for fun in the front of a bracelet. And then the other one is no dangles, just old-fashioned regular charms. Well, this one has a little tiny dangle on the heart, but overall it's just a fun, unexpected way. You can also say this one has the unexpected pops of color. This unexpected pop of this beautiful cerise color helps to make a bracelet more interesting just by adding color. And then the last one is using the actual clasp of a charm as an actual charm. So here I have Mickey and Minnie paired together with little cute Chip and Dale in the center, and this is actually the clasp of the Minnie Mouse bracelet. And it makes it a really cute way to use the clasp of the bracelet as part of the actual bracelet. So I wear it this way all the time and have the Minnie head facing out rather than in. And you can do the same thing with this one, which is the open bangle, whereas most of the time the open bangles are meant to be worn with the Mickey and the Minnie downward. These are hard to do with a camera in the way, but they're meant to be worn like this, but I find that really boring and sort of expected for these types of bracelets, and I think it looks really cool with them on top of the bracelet, kind of like, you know, those old-fashioned lion head charms, but only it's Mickey and Minnie. And that's an unexpected way to wear it. And then I like to also stack it with my Minnie and Mickey bracelets so that I have kind of like and I'll wear these 3 guys together to make it a really Disney-oriented bracelet. So that's some fun ways that you can do unexpected charms. And then the other one is have an unexpected dangle. I'm going to take off my happiness bracelet here that I've been wearing today. But I have, as you can see, I have evenly spaced dangles. So I have 3 up in the front quadrant, and then I have 2 off to the side, and then I have this one unexpected dangle in the back because I had an odd number of dangles and I already had the one in the center. Or actually I had an even number of dangles, but I had one in the center. I wanted to be the center of the bracelet. So I just added the little dangle towards the end of the bracelet in the back, and it worked really nicely. So that's an unexpected way of wearing your charms. Have fun. There's no rules with Pandora, and I hope you've learned a little something that maybe you could take away and have a little bit more fun with your charm bracelets. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.